a tough run, sheltering street people, and you know what? Listen for once.
I'm Bomber Webb.
And I'm Christopher Olsen.
And you're about to listen to This Week in Sedgefield.
Me and you and me together. Mama, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Chris. How
Get
are
off
you
your phone.
doing?
We're busy now. We're doing something.
I need to have something open so that I can read it. Okay, there we go. I'm ready now.
Are you ready? Are we together?
We are together.
Fantastic.
Together
Hope that
forever.
you've had a great week.
I have.
It's been somewhat of a cold, a little bit nippy of a week, some
A
might
little
describe
bit
it.
nippy is exactly not the phrase I would use. I would use incredibly, horribly cold.
It has been a little bit, hey? And
It has.
We get kind of spoiled with our berg winds and our warmth and our mild winters.
We do, because it's a lot colder in Joburg, which is further north.
Yes.
So that's strange.
Much higher up in that kind
Yeah.
of dry, cold, and
Yeah.
you see all of those minimums and whatnot. They don't even have they don't have snow. So I mean, at least in some places, kind of close to us, it's possible to drive to some
And
snow.
see snow.
Yeah, like on
absolutely.
the front page.
Yes,
Right,
we had
from last week's edition.
Rose took a beautiful picture. She took quite a few pictures of
nice.
Swartberg Pass.
Oh, is
Full
that the
of
one it
snow.
was?
Snow everywhere. Quite funny. I saw her on Facebook. She was complaining because someone else had asked if they could use her photographs, like we did.
Yeah.
And they had used them and put their own logo on them. And kind of said, look at these great pictures that we took. Well, inferred that.
Yes,
But
yeah,
she took some wonderful pictures. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
very
It
nice,
looks
eh?
very cold. I don't go looking for snow, I must say. I don't.
No,
it's cold stuff.
Yes, I remember one time we were trying to drive back from this area to Joburg when we were still living there.
Yeah.
And on the way back then, I'm not sure which pass it was, but one of them was closed.
Okay.
I think it was after Graafrenet. But we went off on this other mission through roads that weren't quite on Google Maps, but we thought might link up at some point with the highway again.
Okay.
And it was, it was absolutely magic. But I think the novelty might wear off quite quickly if you're not snowing, if you're not skiing or snowboarding
or throwing snowballs and whatever. Yeah. It's kind of a once thing and then you're done. Yeah.
But it is, I got to admit, it's quite nice kind of in the evenings and these mornings now where you drive in and you see these plumes of smoke and you just know that there are families
people
at
sitting
home.
around the crackling fire.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All staring at their phones and not talking to each other.
Eating crackling maybe.
Delicious. But I think it's true of us who do have these, houses with fireplaces and warmth and all of these, that it's, we feel pretty blessed and pretty thankful. I know I do a lot of the time, not enough, but man, I'm just so grateful to be warm. But there are quite a few people in our town who aren't.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's I too also while I'm sitting next to my fire think it must be harsh for those living on the street in winter.
That's
not
absolutely
pleasant.
right.
Yeah.
So it's good to see right off the bat that we can drop off some blankets at the edge to help. That's a cool way. We're recording this on Mandela Day.
Yes.
Big charity drives.
Hey, happy Mandela Day!
I know.
I didn't give you a Mandela present. Sorry.
That's okay. You can do a little Mandela dance for me.
Okay, I'll do that.
A Madiba jig.
Yes, I'm
Remember
doing it now. There you go.
Beautiful.
Okay. Yes, we every year the Edge does a blanket drive. We work with Masit and Dani. They are the sort of the big charity that helps a lot of people.
They're great.
So they are cool, and they store blankets there. So when they see people that need them, they drop them off. They've got a lot of community care workers working in the community, obviously by the name. And they know they can identify families that are in need.
Yes.
So they'll nip a couple of blankets or whatever they need to all these families.
Yeah.
So and people who are feeling maybe a little warm and snug over the winter season often come and bring in blankets. I mean, the last couple of days, because it's been so cold,
yeah,
we have had masses, well, not masses, but probably a good 20 or so, 30 odd people.
That's
well, not
cool.
all of them were odd. Dropping off blankets. Yeah, and it's great. And then we get them straight off to Macedon. We don't like to keep them at the edge because, it's great. And we occasionally get one or two of the homeless people coming in.
Oh, they come directly to you guys?
Directly to us to look for blankets.
Oh, that sure does warm the heart.
Oh, doesn't it just?
Oh,
doesn't it
beautiful.
just? Yes, yeah.
So it was very interesting to see. We've just had this onslaught of cold fronts, which I feel like haven't hit Sedgefield as bad. That even in terms of the stormy weather and with the winds and the rain.
Oh, yes,
there are a few days that it did, but Western Cape was declared as having a disaster. That was super interesting. Yeah. But it didn't feel super disastery for us.
Yeah, right? No, and I don't think you should continue to tempt fate like that.
Yes, yeah.
we have had enough of cold weather. We have got off quite easy. I think, I mean, every year I say, this is the coldest winter we've ever had. But and it really does feel like that today. Yeah. But no, we've had it mild in comparison. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. But that being said, there was over the past weekend, I think it was this last weekend, it was very interesting to see and very cool to see. I was in favour of it, but seeing that Cleone chatted to municipality and the parties and the people that be to open up the town hall.
That was so cool. Well, warm. Yeah, actually. Cleone Vanston, she's the Ward 2 councillor. For those of you who don't know, and she's always had a heart for the homeless. She's the driving force behind getting a homeless shelter put up in Neisner, and they're trying to get one for Sedgefield as well. But she really took the bull by the horns. She arranged for the town hall to be opened. She got blankets, I think, from Macedon.
Oh, great! Okay,
and some other stuff, I think some food stuff, some whatever.
Yes, yeah.
And they got quite a few people, of the homeless people, bedded down in the town hall just to be out of that wind and cold and probably the rain and what have you.
Yeah. So it was interesting. So there were 25 people who took her up on the offer.
25 people.
From Sunday the 11th to 14th, and a dog.
25 people and a dog. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
We can hear if the dog liked it. But and that's people who were fed, because there were other organizations, like I think Sedgefield Christian Church.
Yeah.
They brought along some food as well.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. The 8 people managed to get some blankets, but one of the ones, I mean, that's just so great. So very, very cool. There was one person saying that it was some of the best sleep that he's had just in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
But the very interesting one for me, and this is something that I've heard Cleone bring up in municipal meetings as well, is that there were 2 street people who didn't want to sleep in the town hall.
Okay.
And they said they didn't want to have to wake up early to leave. They didn't trust being in the town hall. So what Cleone speaks about here is a difference between homeless people and street people. Have you heard her talk about this?
One assumes that they're both the same, but clearly they're not. There are people who opt to be on the streets.
That's it, yeah. And that even if a shelter is set up and an option is set up for them, they would prefer to, and they would rather stick with being in the street. They've kind of built into that. But there are obviously, we can't say that that's true of everyone.
No, absolutely.
Which is also an important distinction to make.
Yes, and I have noticed we have street people and homeless people, and I don't know which would be which, but some of them don't ask for stuff. There's some that will come, some pop into the edge.
I'm sure,
some, to various places, and people walking past, and can you help me with some money for a cup of coffee, or could you buy me a loaf of bread, or what have you? But there are some that I've noticed, I've walked past them, they've never asked for anything.
Very interesting.
And I wonder if those are the street people, like, this is my choice, I live here. Yeah.
Living in a public space, in a shared space.
Yeah.
It'll be very, very interesting to find out and to have those conversations. Because there are a lot of the people who are without homes, who are homeless, who are street people. When you kind of have a bit of a discussion with them, and they're not just wanting to get something out of you. Just really hearing their stories is often just a great experience.
It is a good experience, and we're wary, aren't we? Because we don't want to engage, because then we feel we might get drawn in. And then you've got to say no. If the person says, "Oh, well, I need money for this," or "Can I come into your house?" or whatever.
Yeah, it becomes a bit awkward.
So we get a little bit concerned, I suppose, and understandably. But you're right. We should sit and we should talk, and maybe occasionally buy a cup of coffee, and rather than just hand it over and walk off. Say, hey, let's hear your story.
Which I've seen a few people do every now and again. Where there are certain people at certain places, having a sit with them, having a chat with them, and finding out kind of their story. Which is interesting. What I would like to do at some point is get an in a minute recording, so we can hear maybe a little bit of someone's story who is here, who is on the scene.
That would be a great idea. That would be a great idea.
Like a different view of Sedgefield, I would think, from the rest of us.
Yeah.
But we all do get a great view of our town from beautiful sunsets and sunrises and lagoons and everything like that. And one of the great ways that people do this, because it just draws us into it, is with cycling and is with running.
Yes, well done. That leads us into our next.
You had no idea where I was going with that.
I was wondering. Yeah, we've got the race called the Tuff coming up.
The tortoise Tuff.
The tortoise Tuff.
Tough tortoise. You've got to try to eat a tortoise.
Yeah, well, yes, without your teeth.
Yeah.
Tortoise without your teeth. No, it's not a culinary delight. It's an event, a running race that's been going, probably for 25 years. Well, yes, it is 20, because this is the 25th. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it started off as just a 30K walk around Sedgefield.
This most fair.
It most fair, yeah. And you can't actually think that you can go 30 Ks in Sedgefield.
But yes.
Yeah, this walk took people around the island first, starting at the school around the island, then around Colomaioli, and then off to Platbank along that dirt road and back. And that was all in all 30 Ks.
Oh, amazing. Oh, but that part would probably be cut off now.
So now it's a 21K. This year is a 21K. I think it's still tough because there's lots of hills.
Yep.
But
and it's running, and that's just
the standard distance for running. The standard distances are 10 Ks, 21 Ks, which is a half marathon, 21.1 actually.
Oh, okay.
And then the 42.2. Which is the standard marathon.
Oy.
So this year they've opted for the 21.1 kilometer route.
Yeah.
And there's a 10K route for the faster people.
Oh.
They still have to walk and run. They can't go in their cars. Yes.
What about an electric scooter?
I got stopped once by someone who said, what's the quickest way to Maioli Beach?
Yeah.
And I said, well, are you walking or going by car? And he said, I'm going by car. I said, yeah, that's the quickest way.
You've done it. Well done.
Yes,
congratulations.
Asked and answered.
Continue.
So anyway, this event, which takes place on
10th of August.
The 10th of August, that's it. We got hold of Alvin Stardust.
Stardust?
Well, no, that's not his name.
Are you sure
it's Alvin?
Alvin.
Alvin, yes. Who is the...
Where does Stardust come from?
I don't know. That's a famous name, isn't it? I don't know.
I would think that it comes from stars.
Or Stardust would be, thanks. If they haven't been dusted recently. Okay.
We got hold of Alvin.
We got hold of Alvin, who's the PR guy for the Sedgefield Striders. Now, they're the hosts for this walk race.
Make sure that you're having fun along the way.
Yes, yeah.
Make sure the conversation is going.
That's it. Make sure it's flowing and
good hosts.
And they set up water tables and that sort of thing along the way. Anyway, we asked him in a minute. This is our in a minute section. Where this Paul because Chris and I talk so much drivel and take up the rest of the time.
At least half of us do, yeah.
Yes. So we asked Alvin if he could tell us about the Tortoise Tuff race in a minute. And this is what he said.
Oh, yes. This exciting race has been in the making for 25 years. There's a 21-kilometer run for the serious marathoners, a 10-kilometer run walk for the sprinters, and a 3-kilometer fun run walk for the family. The route takes runners through our quaint little town and really showcases Sedgefield. It's a scenic route along the lagoon with views of the ocean and is an annual highlight for the community. Runners from all over the country arrive to take on this challenge. But I must add, however, that this event would not be possible without the support of our sponsors. We'd like to give a big shout out to our local Pick and Pay, Family Store, Engine One Stop, and all the other sponsors for their wonderful support. They are an integral part of this community and have been helping us throughout the years. We want people to come out to support the runners and make this event a success.
Well, there you go. What he didn't mention in that was that how to enter the race.
Yes, yeah.
So you've got to do that beforehand, and you've got to do it.
Okay, you can't just rock up, yeah.
No, you can't. You've got to do it via a website. And the website is, get a pen and paper, right? You got it?
Is that in the website?
Yes.
Get a pen and paper. It's in the web. This is too long already.
It is very long. It's very long. It's www.aswd.co.za. Now, the ASWD stands for Athletics Southwest District, in case you're wondering.
But we can just do ASWD.
ASWD.co.za.
Okay. You can leave off the www.
You can
if they've
now,
set it
can't
up
you?
nice.
Yeah. But if you do, people don't think it's a website. But
Yeah,
anyway,
right,
when you're typing it in,
Well,
so go to that website and you can enter. It's not expensive at all. It really is. I can't remember the exact price, but it's
just make
not
it up.
expensive.
That's what it'll be.
It's not expensive at all.
A few sprinkles of stardust.
A few sprinkles of stardust, yeah. I'm just trying to look here. There's prizes.
You're just playing on your phone again.
Yeah. If you win first place in the 21-kilometer race, you get 500 Rand vouchers for Pick and Pay.
Yes, because we heard that, from
and
the
in the 10K you get 300 Rand. And there's obviously second and third prizes as well. Yeah, so the entry fee, there's also a 3-kilometer fun run.
Okay, there we go. Now I'm suddenly in. I think something for me might be achievable in here.
Something for you.
Oh,
the
cool.
entry fee for the 3-kilometer run is 20 Rand per person.
Ooh, okay. No, I'm out.
The 10-kilometer run walk is 75 per person.
Not bad, yeah.
And the 21K is 100 Rand per person. You get a medal. You get supported along the way with Coke tables and that sort of thing.
And slaps on the bum to go on. Yeah.
I must say, if you're not a registered runner, when you enter the 10 or the 21, you have to pay what's called a temporary license fee.
To run. You got to get a license to run.
Yeah, it's 45 Rand on top of your entry fee.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay, but I'm sure if you're in Striders and all of that, if you're running...
If you're a registered runner, then you don't have to pay that.
You probably got that. Okay, cool. Yeah, a registered runner. I've never heard of that.
Oh, you never... Okay,
Is there any sort of proficiency test? Like when you sign up, they're like, hey, run, a few steps at least.
Yes, yeah, let's see.
You build up, you're nervous about it, like for a driver's license.
And they ask you questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, one of them they normally ask is if you know who the man, how running was invented.
Yes.
Apparently, it was a man who tried to walk twice at the same time. Can you believe it? Yeah. Anyway,
get your facts from us.
Yes.
Oh man. Speaking of finding things and finding interesting facts and whether or not that's believable. You've been trying to find a song, and you've asked me. I've heard you ask almost 10 people just this week. That's because we were in a room of about 10 people.
No, but I have asked a lot of people.
Have you? You've been trying to find it. We couldn't find it. Yeah.
Okay, it's a song that my brother and a young lass sang. This is years ago when we were still at school. It's a duet. Mm-hmm. And I think it's called When I Was Small. Mm-hmm. Not the Bee Gees one.
Okay.
And then my other brother also sang it as a duet with someone else. Mm-hmm. And it starts off, when I was small, I was a cowboy. Mm-hmm. I shot the engines, but I didn't hit any engines. But I did hit my sister with a suction-tipped arrow.
Okay.
And my father hit me which probably isn't politically correct.
Probably.
Anyway, I'm just trying to find the full words to this song because I need it for something, and I can't. Okay. Google doesn't work.
Yeah, and we tried some of the AIs, Perplexity and ChatGPT. And
they didn't. These. They know nothing.
Yeah, they faithfully got it and very confidently got it very wrong.
That's it.
They said it was, for me, it was Miriam Makeba.
Yeah, come on.
And someone else, which didn't quite match up. No, but it does. No. It says it very, very confidently.
So anybody who has any idea as to that song,
help a bomber out.
Help me out. Help a poor guy out, man. Come on.
But this has led us on to kind of a discussion that we've been having over a very long period of time.
Yeah.
Because it's really quite relevant to how we get our news, how we get facts, how we have our discussions, and engage with people who think differently or have different opinions or are clued up differently. And this has really come to the fore because of the assassination attempt on President Trump.
Yes, yeah.
And how people have sort of jumped on that. And the things that are getting the most attention are the things that are most polarizing.
Yeah.
When it's conspiracy theories, when it's, I don't know what else it would be on there. But that's what people are clicking on. And this kind of brings us to where we get our news and where we get our information and how we are so prone to look for the information that validates our opinion.
Our opinion, yeah.
And the big companies, the Google, the Facebook, the all of these guys, they want us clicking. They want us looking. They literally say it's built into how they constructed it to take as much of our time as possible. So what they do is they're going to push stuff in our face that isn't necessarily.
That's why it's called Facebook.
That's it.
Yeah.
And because they try to remove your want and desire to actually read a book.
That's it.
It takes you away from it. Because we just want to get those little snippets and
get the dopamine.
That's it, the big dopamine hits, the feel goods, this is my opinion, this must be true.
Because other people are agreeing with me and making, you're right.
There we go. And so that shapes a lot of our thinking, and it's not always, and it's not often, if I can say, the most dependable news sources.
Yeah, it's quite scary what comes up. And you mentioned the assassination attempt was what sort of got this conversation going again for us. And it's quite bizarre, isn't it? Because on one side, we hear that the extreme left people, and we are talking extremes, but that's where it all seems to go. The extreme left people are saying it's all an act.
Oh yeah.
He didn't really have his ear shot off. They made a sound effect and this, and then he ducked down, and then he came up and it was
presented
all an
his
act.
News article.
Yes.
Oh my.
And then on the other side, on the far right side, they're saying this was done by the liberals. They wanted to have Donald Trump shot. And he's a man who's been put into place by by God, and this is the evil people trying to get him removed.
Yes,
bizarre on both sides. That's absolutely bizarre.
Yeah, and that's why we talk about it, because this is happening, on a big scale. But this is what social media and kind of new media and our consumption of media and information, this is what it's turned a lot of us into.
Yes.
And it's something that I'm learning a lot from now is being able to listen to the other side.
Yeah.
And a lot of what social media does, the image that I have for it, is walking into a room with people with ears, with their hands covering their ears, all just shouting.
Yeah.
And how many people are actually getting convinced or persuaded or changing their minds in Facebook comments? I'll take it straight to there because I think that's quite relevant to us, especially in Sedgefield, the locals group, and that, where you'll have possibly, and I'm not on Facebook really, so I get to say all this, somebody will throw in a random comment that is just extreme, and it's just there to start a battle, start a fight, and it does just that. But nobody in the comments is changing their ideas, and no one who's presenting the information is necessarily. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but let's have a chat about it.
You're right. And it makes this, it destroys the sense of community. I think it's wonderful that people can share ideas on Facebook and what, but people need to stop and think of, would they say this would they go to a braai with someone?
Yeah.
And let me give you a for instance.
Yes.
If someone said to you at a braai, man, we've got to move to a smaller place. We've got to move overseas, say.
Okay. Yep.
And so I have to rehome my dog. Would you say to that person, that's cruel, I would never do that.
Oh.
Why can't you take why did you get a dog in the first place? Would you leave the family member behind?
Yeah.
What are you thinking? That's just so cruel. Of course you wouldn't say that, but people say it on Facebook.
No, they do, yeah. Very easy, because it's easy, and it's you don't see the other person on the other side. It's built into the mechanism, because you might think those things with the person there, but we should have a filter built in. It's important to,
and we should be listening to people. We should be listening to what they say. We should be supporting them. We can ask questions a lot more civilly. We can...
that's a real word, right? Civilly.
I think so. In a much more civil manner.
Okay, yeah.
And even the big questions that we might even be so militant about what our response to this sort of question would be.
Yeah.
But you listen to someone and you go, wow. I haven't thought of that.
Yeah.
I really haven't thought of that point of view. And we should be meeting in the middle, at least. Or if you want to persuade someone that they should have a different opinion on a thing, do it gently.
That's right, yeah. Do it with respect. As you would a person, where maybe we're thinking we're just trying to convince a computer. And I mean, I talk quite roughly with my computer at times. Not how I would talk to a person.
Yes,
most definitely not.
I know I have a rule for writing angry emails.
Yes.
I write them out. Well, I type them out. I've got a very fast two fingers. I'm a bit confused. Like if I'm typing beer, I go B-E... Where's the other E? But then I don't send the email until the next morning, and I read through the email and I go, wow, I'm so glad I didn't send that.
I misspelled beer.
Yes, I misspelled beer.
But speaking of spelling and all that, it's been great to hear from a whole bunch of people who are dropping comments on the YouTube.
Yes, isn't that great? The
so
tube
thanks
of
so
you.
much for that. Yes, there we
really
go.
Good.
So I think it was Saskia who was just saying thanks for the positive vibes. And we just love it. Thank you so much for the comments and the feedback. Hearing from Laka Local TV, I think it's Yaku, who's just saying, hey, maybe this could be a radio station. I love that. And all the ones enjoying some of our municipal remixes. But we love to hear it. We want to hear your opinions as well.
Yes, please do. And questions and ideas of subjects you want us to cover. That would be good too. Yeah.
No, we'll definitely take it. Before we finish off, do you have any updates for us on maybe what's coming up in the new edition of The Edge next week? Anything else that's kind of popped up from stories from this past week?
Well, we've got sort of a press release from this group that's been working on mostly in Knysna. When remember when we had the carte blanche story earlier this year?
Yeah, that was a big one,
there was things were really going bad.
Yeah,
and a group of what did we call it at the time? I think a groundswell of Knysna people.
That's right.
The groundswell.
Yes.
That was that they got together and they said, look, instead of sitting here complaining, we understand that our municipality is failing in many areas. Let us do stuff for ourselves, but work together with the municipality, support the municipality. Yeah. And so they've been doing some major work with Knysna's water situation, fixing pumps.
Oh, cool.
Working on pump stations.
Normal citizens, just kind of stepping.
Normal citizens,
and
I think businesses and what have you.
Wow.
And they've done some really good stuff.
Awesome. So just sitting on Facebook and complaining there, you mean that didn't work and that didn't help?
Yeah, somehow it didn't.
What? Does Facebook know?
Yeah, well,
I'm going to call Mark Zuckerberg
yes,
right now.
I think so, because he really should have stepped in and fixed the Neisner water problem.
Not good enough, Uncle Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But a very quick one, because there was also the press release from, or not the press release, just a newsletter from the municipality. And this was just an interesting thing that, I mean, they had a lot of things in there, and one of the ones was a section on how government works, which we both had a bit of a chuckle at.
Yeah. Was that how as in how? or how? Yeah.
I think it was both. I read it as both.
Yeah.
But in there, they also put that there are still level 3 water restrictions.
Yes.
You know about that?
I don't know if they've ever lifted them. I mean, we've had some steady rain this whole year.
Yes. What would it take to be out of it?
I think the problem is our capacity to store.
And
And I also think that because we more and more every year we are prone to drought.
Yes.
And I don't think they want people to get back into the habit of using municipal water to water their gardens, washing the car, that sort of thing. So that maybe that's it. Maybe they're just wanting us to stay water wise.
Yeah. Because I'm sure many people have got out of the habit of that, and no one's watering their gardens at the moment, right?
No,
not at all.
Definitely not you.
Yeah.
Turn the sprinkler off.
Yeah. I can guarantee you that I don't water the garden.
Oh, don't you?
Just so you know.
Okay.
It ain't me.
Tell your wife to turn the sprinkler off.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that does it for this week. Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
listening to This Week in Sedgefield. I hope that you all have a brilliant warm one, and drop off some blankets and any other tidbits of wisdom from you there, Bomber.
Yes. Yes. Drop off some blankets and.
That was my one.
Oh,
Get your
that
own.
was okay. And meat pies for me at the edge.
At the edge. Don't wrap them
And
in the
any
blankets.
unwanted 200 Rand notes.
Okay,
you can put your name and address on the back of them if you want. It's not gonna help.
Deface some public,
Yes,
some government owned stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's great wisdom. Thanks, Palmer. Hope you all have a great week. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.